The market getting some continuation today on Monday morning, watch list being pretty good. We'll talk about the trades I took today on Market Open Trading. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? It's Miguel here with Market Open Trading. Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new, definitely consider subscribing, where I give you guys tips and tricks on how to stay profitable in the stock market. So as you guys can see, this morning I took 3 trades. I made a couple little mistakes here and there. They were kind of dumb, which ended up, me losing out on a little bit of money. I was not able to piece out, but I'll break down those trades for you guys today. So this morning, the first trade I took was at 9:36 on Tesla. So the watch list, hopefully you guys took advantage of it this morning. I posted it up in the Facebook room, and a lot of the things that I put up actually ended up playing out, and it's, a lot of the things actually ended up working out like I wanted them to. Therefore, you can see I took 3 trades that were all green. I'm actually still have 65 shares left on HAL. So now, Tesla was the first trade I took this morning, so let's take a look at that. So Tesla was had bad news this morning. Hold on, let me connect these two. So red, 1 year. Show you guys a daily chart on Tesla. So this morning, Tesla was actually gapping down on some negative news. As you can see here, the blue line is the 50-day moving average. The darker gray line is the 200-day moving average. And also, we have the 300 mark, which is also very important. So just like any other big numbers, 250, 200, 300, 350, 400, things like that. So it's gapping right around that area. So I wanted to take it for an opening range breakdown. And this here is the first 5-minute candle. It pulled back slightly, and as it broke down below the lows, I went ahead and took it short. So now I only took 50 shares short, and I actually ended up missing it at the very beginning. So I waited for it to come back up and over 297 for me to short 50 shares. So if you guys will notice, I'll move it here on the 1 minute, because so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the first 5-minute candle here, and you'll notice I shorted it at 9:36. So it broke down below. Was that it? Yeah. So it broke down below 297. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The low of this candle is 297.14. Let's see here. 5. So 9:35, 9:36. So I actually ended up shorting it here a little late. So remember, the first 5-minute candle is the first 5 1-minute candles. So here, this is the last candle. It came all the way down to 297.04, and I ended up shorting it on this candle. So it actually came all the way down to 296.25, but fortunately, it actually ended up coming back over 297. I shorted it, and my stop was at the same place. So if we go back to the 5-minute chart, I was risking about, so 298.50 is the top of that. 297.05, so we're talking about $1.50. So if I'm risking $100, I should have 75 shares. So if I'm risking $100, 75 shares is $1.50. So you'll notice here that I actually, unfortunately, I shorted 50 shares instead of 75 shares. I knew I was late. I said it's typically around 50 shares that I short, so I just shorted 50 shares just out of reaction. And as it came back up, I actually shorted a little bit more, the other 25. So I got an average on Tesla of 297.21, which is pretty good. Now, so you'll see here that it actually broke down below the lows, kept coming lower, and I actually covered 50 shares at 295.63, and the rest of the 25 at 295.80. So I actually ended up covering them a little bit too fast, because I wanted to take half and then just ride down the rest and then just kind of piece it out. But unfortunately, did not end up working out. I took 75% of the shares, which was 50. But I ended up making a gain of $114 in less than 10 minutes. So ended up getting a win on that. Now, the next trade I took was on Hasbro. So Hasbro this morning was gapping up on good earnings. Now, you'll notice here that in the first 5-minute candle, there were people that were just taking profits. So there's typically two things that a stock can do if it's gapping up a lot, whether it could be good earnings, it could be a good PR, it could be whatever. So if within the first 5, 10, it could be, whenever. It could even be the whole day. If a stock gaps up and it sells off for the rest of the day or just in the very beginning, that just means that people are taking profits. Because if you notice here on the daily chart means that each one of these candles is a one full day. So we had resistance here at 103.40, and then we had the 52-week high at 111.12 or 111.59. So you're gapping up way above that. It sold off. It hit 100, which is a major number. So psychologically, people are like, okay, well, if this thing sells down to 100, I'll pick up more shares, or I'll average down, or I'll just pick up more shares because it's cheap. So it bounced at 100 and it started coming back here. So it sold off. People were taking profits. It started coming back immediately. So you'll see it came back up and over the VWAP, came back up and over the 9, and started consolidating sideways right below the 105 mark. So I said, if this thing breaks over 105, it's breaking the opening range. So remember, when you guys hear me say opening range breakout, ORB, it means that it's breaking the range of that first 5-minute candle. So if it's breaking over the highs, the stock is expected to go higher that day because it is the opening range. If it breaks down below, it's meant to go lower on that day if it's gapping down. So I wanted to take it here over 105, and I just knew that this thing was going to explode if it went over 105. So I actually ended up getting in a little bit early. So I took the high of this candle. So the high of this candle is 104.75, and I said if it goes over 104.76, I want to get in. I'm going to put my stop down here at 103.80, and I'm still only going to get 180 or 80 shares because I'm risking about $1.20. So I ended up getting long here, and if you notice here, this candle, more volume started coming in, so there was over 260,000 shares bought just in this one candle alone. It broke over the high of that candle, it hit 105 and just went. So you'll see the top of this candle actually ended up hitting 105.68. So that means that as soon as it went over the high, people knew that, oh, it's going to hit higher, it's going to break high a day, and people just started hopping in. So luckily I got in early, and I got an average of 104.89. Which was lowering my basically my stop. So I was actually going to lose less money by anticipating the break of that 105. I was going to lose less money if it actually came back down to the 103.80. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. If that doesn't make sense to you guys, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll break it down for you guys a little bit further. So I expected this thing to go, and it actually ended up playing out. The market was starting to turn around, and it was starting to head a little bit higher. So I said, let me go ahead and put in the shares. And my target was going to be $1.20. So now, HAS, so I sold half like I'm supposed to. I sold half at 106.19. And unfortunately, I think I actually ended up, let's see. Oh, no, I take that back. So instead of selling 40 shares, this is one of the mistakes I was talking about. So instead of selling 40 shares, I actually ended up buying 40 shares. So I said, crap, because I'm used to being short and being short in Tesla early, I said, okay, to be able to cover your short, you have to buy. So I was long and I was short on one. So I covered, which means I bought, and then I need to sell because I'm long. It's kind of a pain in the ass sometimes when you can go both ways, long and short, and you just kind of mess it up sometimes. It happens. So I ended up buying another 40 shares at 106.19, unfortunately, so it actually screwed up my average. And I said, okay, well, I'm up and over my initial target. Let me just go ahead and take everything. So I bought the 40 shares. I had 80 shares from earlier, so I said, screw it. I'll just take everything, 106.20, and I ended up booking $104 or $106 on that trade. Now, I took one more trade, HAL. HAL was gapping down this morning, and actually I still have a piece of it. I'm actually almost to my 2-to-1 target. I'm probably going to end up taking it here soon, but it's still trending down. Technically, this thing has not done anything wrong. So it hasn't done anything wrong. I mean, it's making lower lows and lower highs, so it's still technically trending lower. So if it's gapping down on bad news, on bad earnings, this thing sold off a lot this morning. And I was waiting for a pullback. So initially it didn't give me an entry because I don't like to take this type of opening ranges. Either like to take a indecision candle, or I'll take a red candle and then a pullback and I'll short it under the lows. but this did not give me a right entry. So I was just waiting for a pullback here. As you can see, it actually pulled back to the moving average, to volume weighted average price, which is VWAP, which is the white line. And the 9 is kind of curling down on it. It's providing resistance for it. If it wants to come back up top, that means that there is 2 resistance coming back on top of it, which should technically pull the stock lower. So now I shorted it, one of my favorite patterns. So it's a VWAP rejection pattern. So you'll see here on HAL, I shorted 170 shares. Again, I slightly screwed up here. I wanted to risk only 50 cents. So, or I mean, not 50 cents, but $50. So instead of taking the full lot, because the market was actually headed up higher during that time, I just felt a little uncomfortable shorting it. So you'll see here that the market went strongly up right around 9:55 and 10 o'clock. So you'll see here at 10 o'clock, the market it broke up and over the highs, and it was going the opposite direction of which way the stock is going. So that made me feel a little uncomfortable, but the pattern was perfect. So I said, okay, let me take half size and I'll risk that. So what I ended up taking is, I was supposed to take 250 shares. So I unfortunately shorted 170 right as it broke down below this. So the entry for VWAP rejection is the next candle to make a new low, and the low on this candle is 42.08. So you'll see here I shorted it at 42.04, which I got a little bit of slippage, like 3 cents, not a big deal. So as it was teeter-tottering back and forth, I said, crap, I only shorted 170. Let me get it correct, and I shorted another 80. So back to my 250 shares originally. So my average on HAL ended up being 42.04. So now I'm going to ride this thing down. I wanted at least 25 to 30 cents. And as you can see, HAL, I started covering here at, let's see, 10.15. So probably here in this candle. So 10.15, I covered 125 shares at 41.21. Let's see here. Yeah, let me make sure that's correct. Yeah, so 41.81. I covered 125 shares, and I covered another 60 at 41.68 as it was breaking down here below lows. Now I still have another 65 shares left that I'm gonna leave, and I'm just gonna try and ride them out as far as I can. And I have a stop loss at break even currently, so I've already realized the amount that was already risking. So the amount of money that I could make possibly on the last 65 shares is basically just, it's free money basically. It's just a free trade. So even if it does come back up and over 42, kicks me out, I already realized the amount that I was already risking. So it's basically a risk-free trade. So I am up a little bit over $300 on the morning. It's only 10:35, so I booked $300 in about an hour. These are all patterns that I go over in my stock trading course. If you guys want to check out the link below, or you guys can just check out marketopentrading.com, and I'll walk you guys through the A through Z, everything that you need to know on making your watch list, picking out the right patterns, criteria for taking stocks, and everything that you're going to be able to need to become a profitable trader. If you guys have any questions, make sure to put it down in the comment section below. Also, if you guys are on Facebook, or if you guys have a Facebook, make sure to join us in our private trading group. We're up to 11,000 actually members in there. It's all different investors, swing traders, day traders, small caps, large caps. There's crypto traders. There's everything in there. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, maybe if I can't answer them myself, somebody else that's more knowledgeable in that market can help you out. But yeah, definitely check us out, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.